Jaya Radha Madhava Punjabi Hari 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 Janga Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodananda Bhaja Jana Ranjana Yashodananda Bhaja Jana Ranjana Yashodananda Bhaja Jana Ranjana Yashodananda Bhaja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Punjabi Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Punjabi Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Punjabi Hari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodananda Bhaja Jana Ranjana Yashodananda Bhaja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Punjabi Hari Jaya Radha Madhava 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 Punjabi Hari Jaya Vishnu Paramahamsa Parvati of the Church. Astotra Shishi was the right way Sila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Kunti Vaishnava Ki Jai Srila Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prayam Sikao Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhupada Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srila Sri Gaur Bhaktivedanta Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Bhagavata Shyam Kundu Radha Kundu Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Srila Bhaktivedanta Ki Jai Gaur Premanande, all glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories to Sri Guru. Om Vishnu Padaya, Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pujani Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Namaskar Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So, good morning. Thank you all for coming to today's class in the beautiful Bhagavatam. First canto, 8th chapter, 25th verse. We're into the prayers of Queen Kunti. A very sweet part of the Bhagavatam. Vipadaha,
Vipadaha,
Santu,
Santu,
Aha, Sashwa,
Shashva,
Tatra,
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 Jagat,
Jagat,
Guru,
Guru,
Bhavato,
Bhavato,
Darshanam,
Darshanam,
Yat,
Yat,
Syas,
Yat,
Apunar,
Apunar,
Bhava, Darshanam,
Darshanam,
Vipadaha Santutha Saswat,
Vipada Santita Sarasvat,
Tatra Tatra Jagat Guru,
Tatra Tatra Jagat Guru,
Bhavato Darshanam Yatshat,
Bhavato Darshanam Yatsya,
Apunar Bhava Darshanam,
Apunar Bhava Darshanam,
Vipadaha Santutha Saswat,
Vipada Santita Sarasvat,
Tatra Tatra Jagat Guru,
Tatra Tatra Jagat Guru,
Bhavato Darshanam Yatshat,
Bhavato Darshanam Yatsya,
Apunar Bhava Darshanam,
Apunar Bhava Darshanam,
Vipadaha Santutha Saswat,
Vipada Santita Sarasvat,
Tatra Tatra Jagat Guru,
Tatra Tatra Jagat Guru,
Bhavato Darshanam Yatshat,
Bhavato Darshanam Yatsya,
Apunar Bhava Darshanam,
Apunar Bhava Darshanam,
Vipada Santutha Shashvat,
Vipada Santita Sarasvat,
Tatra Tatra Jagat Guru,
Tatra Tatra Jagat Guru,
Bhavato Darshanam Yatsya,
Bhavato Darshanam Yatsya,
Apunar Bhava Darshanam,
Apunar Bhava Darshanam, Vipada Santita Sarasvat, Vipada Santita Sarasvat, Tatra Tatra Jagat Guru,
Tatra Tatra Jagat Guru,
Bhavato Darshanam Yatsya,
Bhavato Darshanam Yatsya,
Apunar Bhava Darshanam,
Apunar Bhava Darshanam,
Vipada Santutha Sarasvat,
Vipada Santita Sarasvat,
Tatra Tatra Jagat Guru,
Tatra Tatra Jagat Guru,
Bhavato Darshanam Yatsya,
Bhavato Darshanam Yatsya,
Apunar Bhava Darshanam,
Apunar Bhava Darshanam,
Vipada Santutha Shashvat,
Vipada Santutha Shashvat,
Tatra Tatra Jagat Guru,
Tatra Tatra Jagat Guru,
Bhavato Darshanam Yatshat,
Bhavato Darshanam Yatsya,
Apunar Bhava Darshanam,
Apunar Bhava Darshanam,
Vipada Santutha Shashvat,
Vipada Santita Sarasvat,
Tatra Tatra Jagat Guru,
Tatra Tatra Jagat Guru,
Bhavato Darshanam Yatsya,
Bhavato Darshanam Yatsya,
Apunar Bhava Darshanam,
Apunar Bhava Darshanam,
Vipada Santutha Sarasvat,
Vipada Santutha Shashvat,
Tatra Tatra Jagat Guru,
Tatra Tatra Jagat Guru,
Bhavato Darshanam Yatsya,
Bhavato Darshanam Yatsya,
Apunar Bhava Darshanam,
Apunar Bhava Darshanam,
Give it a shot.
Vipada Santuta Sasvat, Tatra Tatra Jagadguru, Bhavato Darshanam Yatsyat, Apana Darshanam,
Vipadaha. Calamities. Santu. Let there be. Taha. All. Saswat. Again and again. Tatra. There. Tatra. And there. Jagadguru. O Lord of the universe. Bhavataha. Your. Darshanam. Meeting. Yat. That which. Syat. Is. Apunaha. Not again. Bhava Darshanam. Seeing repetition of birth and death. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhu. This is Queen Kunti speaking. I wish that all those calamities would happen again and again, so that we could see you again and again. For seeing you means that we will no longer see repeated births and deaths. So I say, and you can repeat. I wish that all those calamities would happen again. And again. So that we could see you. Again. And again. For seeing you means that we will no longer see repeated births and deaths. Purport. Generally, the distressed, the needy, the intelligent, and the inquisitive, who have performed some pious activities, worship or begin worship to worship the Lord. Others who are thriving on misdeeds only, regardless of status, cannot approach the Supreme due to being misled by the illusory energy. Therefore, for a pious person, if there is some calamity, there is no other alternative than to take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Constantly remembering the lotus feet of the Lord means preparing for liberation from birth and death. Therefore, even though there are so-called calamities, they are welcome because they give us an opportunity to remind the Lord, to remember the Lord, which means liberation. One who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, which are accepted as the most suitable boat for crossing the ocean of nescience, can achieve liberation as easily as one leaps over the holes made by the hoofs of a calf. Such persons are meant to reside in the abode of the Lord, and they have nothing to do with a place where there is danger in every step. This material world is certified by the Lord in Bhagavad Gita as a dangerous place full of calamities. Less intelligent persons prepare plans to adjust to those calamities without knowing that the nature of this place is itself full of calamities. They have no information of the abode of the Lord, which is full of bliss and without trace of calamity. The duty of the sane person, therefore, is to be undisturbed by worldly calamities, which are sure to happen in all circumstances. Suffering all sorts of unavoidable misfortunes, one should make progress in spiritual realization because that is the mission of human life. The spirit soul is transcendental to all material calamities. Therefore, the so-called calamities are called false. This is an interesting closing Prabhupada makes here. A man may see a tiger swallowing him in a dream, and he may cry for this calamity. Actually, there is no tiger, and there is no suffering. It is simply a case of dreams. In the same way, all calamities of life are said to be dreams. If someone is lucky enough to get in contact with the Lord by devotional service, it is all gain. Contact with the Lord by any one of the 9 devotional services is always a forward step on the path to going back to Godhead. Om Agyantimarindasya Gyananjalam Shalakaya Chakshur Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Mano Vishnu Snapitam Jayam Bhutale Swayam Swayam Kadamaya Bharati Swaparati Kama Vajakopato Yascha Kripasinade Cha Patikanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So, once again, the translation, I wish that all those calamities could happen again and again, so that we could see you again and again. For seeing you means that we will no longer see repeated births and deaths. So, what's happening here? Queen Kunti has been offered a boon by the Lord. She's been told by Krishna that I will give you whatever you want. You've gone through so much suffering. You know, you've been hunted. You and your children have been hunted like animals. Attempted slaughter. For years this has gone on. You had to hide in whatever nook and cranny you can find to hide to keep from being killed and protect your children. You know, this is quite a calamity. This is akin to what do they call it? Genocide. You know, when people are killing through. It's what happened in Cambodia when the armies were going through killing people. They had to hide wherever they could. Vietnam, wherever. She's living a life like this. She's having to hide. And she's being hunted at every moment. You see. Specifically, her and those children are being hunted. You see. The order of the king, kill them. Find them and kill them. You see. So she's lived through this. This is a horrible thing. Can you imagine what this is like for a mother? It's a terrible life. She's suffered and suffered and suffered. So Lord Krishna is standing in front of her and he says, my dear lady, my dear queen, I will give you whatever boon you want. You have suffered so much. But what is she asking for here? Her wish from Krishna is, I wish that all those calamities would happen again and again. I want it back. I want it again. I want to live that life again. Why? This doesn't sound adjusted. This sounds maladjusted. I wouldn't do that, would you? You know, I mean, I can think of a long list of things to ask Krishna. She's asking to go through again and again, so that we can see you again and again. See? Why does she want to see Krishna again and again? Because Krishna is her prime objective. Krishna is the object of her existence. You see? Through all of this time, she's had to take shelter of Krishna. She's had to remember Krishna and pray to Krishna, my dear Lord, you are my only shelter. Please protect me and my children. Please save me, my Lord. Day after day, minute after minute, hardly being able to sleep, because every noise that you hear could be the soldiers coming to kill you and your children. So you nod for a minute, and if the wind blows the grass, you may awaken. You see. But when she awakens, she said, "Oh, Krishna, Krishna, save me." There's no one there. She's thinking, "Ah, Krishna, save me." So throughout this terrible time that she experienced, she was forced to remember Krishna, because the danger at every step. There's danger at every step, but sometimes we forget it. We forget about it. We think things are okay in this material world and stuff. You see, she was reminded of the nature of this material world, danger at every step. Because it was like that for her life for such a long time. So, but throughout all of the sacrifice that she's going through, she's remembering Krishna. This forced her to remember Krishna. You know, if you're going along down the street and a car pulls out in front of you, you know, even a non-devotee may say, "Oh God! Oh my God!" You see? Not that they're actually remembering God, but that's a nice reaction. But we have a tendency to think of Krishna when we're in calamity. And then maybe not so much of a tendency to think of him when things are going really sweet. When everything is really good, no, we're thinking about all the really good, you see. I have plenty of money. I have a nice house. I have a nice swimming pool. I have this, I have that. I have a nice car. The devotee may say, "Thank you, Krishna, for all that." But basically, most people spend their time simply enjoying. And they may think, "Oh, just see what I have accumulated. This is the work of my hard work. This is the result of my hard work and my intelligence." You see? You know, I've worked hard for this. I deserve it. It's about time that I got this reward. You know, many people have a tendency to think like that. The devotee knows, though, however, that everything is coming from Krishna. Krishna says, "I have the ability in man. So if I have some ability that's allowed me to become successful, that's Krishna." You see? That's Krishna. My ability is Krishna. If I can play the mridanga very nicely, that's Krishna. You see? I have the ability in man and woman. Krishna is the ability. He provides us with the ability to accomplish our desires. You see? Otherwise, we wouldn't have any fulfillment of our desires. We could just desire and desire and desire and wouldn't come. If Krishna didn't give us the ability and help fulfill those desires, you see. So, Kunti is thinking, "Oh, I just want to remember you, my Lord, and to make sure that I am fixed on your lotus feet, I want it to all happen again and again." She's willing to endure this for the long haul, you see, just so she can remember Krishna. In other words, I'll give anything to remember Krishna. Anything. So she's begging Krishna, "Please let me always remember you and never forget you." So, foreseeing you means that we will no longer see repeated births and deaths. By seeing you, seeing, thinking, remembering, we can also see I'll escape repeated births and deaths. Although that's not her ultimate goal. Her ultimate goal is simply to have Krishna. Now, all of us, when we start out, as devotees, we still suffer from the material disease of I want. Can you give me? You know, I need this and I need that. I'm going out to gather things. I'm going out to work to gather money so that I can have a griha, and I can have this, and I can have that. You see, so I may approach the Lord and ask him, "Can you give me a hand here? You know, could you help me with my grades in school so I can get a good job? Now help me with my job so I can make advancement. You know, help me find a proper mate. Give me. Keep it coming." You see, that's natural for the materially afflicted soul. It's natural. Give me my daily bread. Give me. You see, I can always think of something that I need when I'm materially conditioned. Bhakti Mike and I were talking about this the other day. The devotee finds himself in such a situation that sometimes people want to do for him. They want to do something for the devotee. You know? The devotee has this feeling of, but I don't need anything. You may not have anything, but you don't feel any need, nor any desire. You know, what can I get you? I want to get you. I want to do something. I don't have any. I don't need. Krishna is taking care. I don't really need anything. You see. So we find ourselves in a society of devotees who want to do for one another, and also those people don't want anything done for them. You see, which adds an interesting dynamic to the relationship between devotees. The devotees are always wanting to serve one another, and yet no one wants to receive service. You see. Whereas in the material world, everyone's trying to engage you in their service. They're trying to take from you. You see. They have a list, a very long list of things they like. You see. If you offer service in the material world, practically everyone will accept it. The devotee is kind of shy. But the devotee realizes, oh, you're trying to offer some service, but I don't want you to serve me. I want to serve you. But I don't think that you actually want to serve me. You're honoring me because of my guru, or because I'm a devotee of Krishna. The honor that you want to show me, I will accept, knowing that in your heart, really, you're offering it to Krishna, even though you may not know it. You may think, oh, I'm doing this for you because you have said something that made me feel enlivened, and I'm thinking, I said my guru's words. My guru takes the credit, you see. People want to offer the credit to you. So, sometimes the service of a devotee is to accept service. And you may not like it, and you don't want it, you see. But if you want to do something nice for Bhakta Aaron, he doesn't want to engage you in his service, but he may accept. He may accept, knowing that, oh, this is due to, it's not me that you're honoring, although you may think you are, you see. And it pleases you. It pleases you to offer some service. You may offer some service, you see. So the devotees don't want to engage one another in service, but yet everybody wants to engage themselves in serving the devotees. You see. It's a very interesting dynamic. Different, far different, just the opposite from the material world. So, there's something here that I wanted to touch on. One who, in the second paragraph, one who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, which are accepted as the most suitable boat for crossing the ocean of nescience, can achieve liberation as easily as one leaps over the holes made by the hooves of a calf. The hooves of a calf are probably, a little bit bigger than my thumb, just very small. And sometimes we find ourselves saying, oh, it's so hard. It's clearly said here by Srila Prabhupada, it's said in many different places, that one who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. You see, in other words, I'm taking shelter, Queen Kunti is taking shelter of Krishna. I'm taking shelter. That means I realize that I have no protection from this material world other than Krishna. I can't take care of myself. I have no ability to take care of myself. I can't provide anything for myself. I have no resources at my fingertips, you see. I can't do really anything. I have no potency. I depend on Krishna for everything. When we get in that frame of mind, then everything becomes easy. Why? Because Krishna is doing it for you. Krishna says, I will carry you. He says like that. I'll provide I'll carry whatever you need. I just want you to surrender to me. Be my devotee. Offer devotional service. And then I'll do it for you. Have no fear. Have no doubt, Krishna says. I'll do it for you. That's why it becomes, now, because you're in the lap of Krishna, now there is no danger. There may be danger, but you don't perceive it as danger. The devotee doesn't see that there's any danger. You see, what could possibly happen to me once I've taken shelter of Krishna fully? The tiger could come and eat me. Maybe it's not a dream. Maybe I could take a walk in Bengal and the Bengal tiger jumps out and gobbles me down. Am I concerned about that? Not the slightest. You see, I'm in the lap of Krishna. I don't worry about things like that. Krishna's taking care of me. Someone may say, well, wait a minute, if the tiger is eating you, how is that Krishna taking care of you? He's taking my soul out of this body in the holy Dhamma of Mayapur and taking me back to Godhead. He's going to engage me somewhere else. But I've taken shelter of Krishna. Once I've taken shelter of Krishna, I don't have any worries. I don't have to be concerned about anything. I let him be concerned about it. You see. So the devotee thinks like that. We think like that. I'm passing it on to him. He'll take care of me. He promises it. He makes that promise. I just have to take his promise. So we don't understand, because we in ISKCON, we didn't struggle so much to get where we are, you see. We're riding on the crest of the wave of the golden age of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya came and distributed love of Godhead freely. It's like, Lord Chaitanya is walking down the street and he's handing out lottery tickets. And all of them win. It's like, here, you take. So what people had strived for, struggled for, birth after birth, lifetime after lifetime, to achieve some perfection, and perhaps after achieving perfection, perhaps stumbling on devotional service. You see, this is a very rare thing. Of the number of living entities that actually take up devotional service to Krishna, we're so rare you can't even measure us. The percent of living entities compared to those who are serving Krishna in loving devotional service it's so small you can't see it. It's like it almost doesn't exist compared to the multitudes of those who are not. And that includes people engaged in all types of religious activity. Because performing devotional service to Krishna is the graduation of religious activity. Religious activity is meant to bring you to the point of performing devotional service. And to get there, you have to struggle. Birth after birth. You may have your ups and downs, but birth after birth, you're struggling until you get to the point to where you can actually discover your true self, your true identity as an eternal servant of Krishna, and then start to behave as yourself. The real behavior, you see. So, all of us, we're victims of causeless mercy. Here we are. What did you do? What did you do to get here? It was offered to you, wasn't it? In past ages, people struggled. Intense meditation for years, centuries. Intense. Somebody threw it right in your lap, didn't they? Did anybody here struggle? No, it was offered to us, and then we're here. We're taking the position like, well, maybe. Well, I think so. Well, but it's so hard. Oh, but this is so difficult. You see, we didn't have to struggle and struggle. It's just like, here, take it. Take this book. This will take you back to God. Oh, but this is so difficult. You see. It's difficult in our minds, you see. It's the difficulties, it's just like the man here who's dreaming he's being eaten by the tiger. You know, there is no tiger. He's not being eaten by a tiger. And if you saw him sleeping, he'd be going, ah! His wife would say, dear, wake up, what's wrong? The tiger, help, help! You see. And while he's sleeping, while he's covered over, it's real. He's even feeling the pain. You ever felt pain in a dream? I can remember feeling pain in a dream, waking up and thinking, oh, that was a dream. Oh, I'm glad that was a dream. That was terrible. But while I was dreaming, I was in pain. You see? So, and here we are, we're in this dream state, and we're thinking, oh, this is so difficult. It's being pitched in our lap, and we're thinking it's difficult. Why is it difficult? Because I'm attached. I'm attached to the material world. You see? I didn't have to struggle birth after birth after birth to get here, and all of this lifetime. You see? Somebody sold me a book. I read the book and discovered my true identity. You see, we got to jump over millions of births. You see, it was just given to us. You're a winner. You're a winner the very minute that you take up the process. You see, and because we didn't struggle for it, we don't realize the value of it. Sometimes when something is given to you, we don't recognize the value right away. It's a gift. You see, if I had worked hard and I had to save to buy something, and I really was striving for it for a long, long time, when I finally get it, I'm thinking, oh, this is so great. But when somebody comes by and says, hey, how'd you like an iPhone? My Samsung is working very nicely, thank you. But I'll take it, You see what I mean? So here we are, we're thinking we're okay in the material world. We're thinking that someday, very soon, I'll be successful in satisfying all of my material desires. Like most people in the material world, they're thinking, I will be successful someday in satisfying my desires. I just have to work harder. I have to meet somebody else. I have to find this. I have to move here. If I were living by the ocean, everything would be fine. If I were living in the mountains, everything would be fine. You see? If I could get a job in computer software, I'd be fine. If I could get a job as an artist, And I can do it. I'll do it. Tony Robbins told me that I can do whatever I wanted to do. You see? So I'm all revved up and I'm positive. I know I can do it. The material world is really sweet. I don't see any danger, you see, because I'm going to get my material desires. And then, here we are thinking like that, and someone says, here, take this book. Some devotee of Krishna. And then you think, I don't really need this. I'm doing pretty good already, thank you very much. But let me see what this says. Wow, that's interesting. Wow, this is really true. I am an eternal servant of God. So now I have to act on it. But I don't want to. I really liked my position before, even though I was suffering. But the suffering was going to end very soon. As soon as I got the job, up in the mountains, as soon as I got all that, I met the girl of my dreams, or the man of my dreams. It was going to be beautiful. So I really should act on this. But I don't really want to. I mean, I think I should want to, and I really think I should. This is what I really should do. Because actually this is, so then the selfishness starts to kick in. Because this is actually, becoming a devotee of Krishna is actually the best thing for me. You see, I haven't gotten to the point of thinking what's best for Krishna, what would Krishna like. Ultimately, this would be best for me. So we start to perform devotional service because it's good for us. And as we make advancement, then we start to think, well, but Krishna, what would you like? I'm starting to be concerned about what I can do for you. It's not all about me. I don't want to think just about me. I'm getting tired of that. I want to think about you and what you want, how I can serve you. How can I make you happy? I don't need daily bread. You've always given me the daily bread. It's always been there for me and all the living entities. You know, who feeds the ants? Isn't it amazing how ants always find food? Where there is none, they find it. Why? Krishna's feeding everything. He's feeding every living entity, including us. Why would he not take care of us? If he takes care of the birds and the squirrels and the ants and the spiders and the snakes and the rats, why would he not take care of us? So we don't have to be concerned about that. See? All we have to do is to be concerned about what's pleasing Krishna. Because that's what makes us happy. That's our natural constitutional position. That's how we become pleased. When we please Krishna. Even though we're not looking to be pleased, we want him to be pleased. But when we please him, we feel pleasure. Because when we're doing like that, then we're in sync. We're in sync with Krishna. We're in sync with the entire spiritual cosmos as well as the material cosmos. You see? And when we're performing that activity, we don't want for anything. We're so satisfied and so pleased from our pleasing Krishna and Guru that we don't want for anything. We don't need anything. So at that point, Krishna may say, I know you don't need anything, and now you're not asking anything from me. You see? You're wanting to please me. But I want to please you. I want to do something for you. I know you'll be pleased by pleasing me and serving me, but I want to do something for you. You see? So Krishna will provide something for you. Some opulence he'll give the devotee. The devotee doesn't, Srila Prabhupada wasn't looking for fame, profit, adoration, distinction. He didn't want that. He just wanted to carry out the order of his Guru. He wanted to please Guru and Krishna. He had no desire for fame, profit, adoration, and distinction. But what did Krishna give him? Fame, profit, adoration, and distinction of a worldwide magnitude. You see, Prabhupada had no desire for it, but Krishna threw it at him. Take this. Because he knew that Prabhupada would use it in service of Guru and Krishna. I'm going to shower you with resources because I know you actually need this to fulfill your desire to serve me. Your desire to serve me is much greater than the resources around you. So I'll shower you with these resources. You see? So the devotee really has no desire, no need for anything. He's engaged in Krishna's service. So this magical moment when the devotee, this is interesting to contemplate. When the devotee takes up devotional service, of course, like I said, we didn't struggle for it. You know, we just found it. Somebody gave it to us. We're receiving this causeless mercy of Lord Chaitanya. You know, we're drowning in this ocean of mercy of Lord Chaitanya. So we find ourselves with it. Now, here I've got devotional service. I don't even know how I got it. So I start to perform devotional service. Do you know what? Do you know how huge that is? When a living entity takes up devotional service, It's like it makes the headlines in Goloka Vrindavan. Srimati Radharani immediately looks at you and says, wow, you're performing devotional service? This is huge. Who does this? Practically speaking, nobody of the innumerable living entities suffering and trapped in this material world, how many start to perform this loving devotional service to Krishna? This is so incredibly rare. Even though you're surrounded by people who are doing it, we lose concept of how rare this is. Narada Muni looks at you. All the demigods recognize you. You're famous amongst all of the who's who in the Goloka Vrindavan. All the gopis, they're singing, oh, look at this. A soul has taken up devotional service. Srimati Radharani wants to help, assist in any way possible. Krishna is ecstatic. He and Balaram are doing a high five. We've got another soul coming home. This is huge. And we don't realize the magnitude of what we're doing. It's escaping us. So we have to see the magnitude of the position that we have. Not that we get puffed out. But we have all of the resources of the Supreme Lord and all of His servants to go back to Godhead. We have all those resources available. All the resources that Krishna has are available for you to go back to Godhead. He's completely behind you. Radharani is completely behind you. The goddess of fortune is completely behind you. They're on your side. Now, Krishna may test. Well, no, let me say that differently. Krishna will test. At this point, Krishna says to Maya, that's okay, you can back off. This one is mine. He's taken up devotional service. You go take care of those people who are just in ignorance. You see, want to enjoy their senses. Those are yours. But this one is mine. I will test it. You see. Amaya is a test just by her being there. We always know she's there. You know. That's the test of just her being there. We may not see her. We're performing devotional service, but we always know that she's there. That's the test. And she's willing to take you back any moment. Come on home, sweetheart. You know you miss me. Remember the good times we had, birth after birth after birth. You see, it's always, the door's open. Maya's door's open. Come on. You see. So, just by her being there, and we know she's there with her door open, that's a test enough. So, Krishna will test you personally along this road as you're progressing back home, back to Godhead. You see, not so much that he wants to trip you up, but he wants this is training. This ISKCON is like basic training for Goloka Vrindavan. We're in the process of being trained right now. We're trained up to go back home, back to Godhead. So I should probably pause and see if there's any questions or comments.
I heard a story. Gaur Shakti Prabhu told me a story the other day, and he said that Prabhupada, the story about Prabhupada when he was, there was bombs going off. I don't know if it was in India or something. Have you heard this? I know you've heard this, but and he was cooking puris, and all the devotees started running to the bomb shelter. I said, Prabhupada, are you going to come to the bomb shelter? He said, no, if Krishna comes in the form of a bomb, I'll just offer him a puri.
Yeah, the devotee loses fear. A couple of things about the devotees that sometimes the conditioned souls find unattractive is that they're fearless. I'm living in a world where there's danger at every step. Why are you not afraid? You see. Also, the conviction that the devotee has is oftentimes confused by the materially conditioned souls. You see, because they know in their heart that based on what they know of the material world, that there's no reason to have any confidence in anything, because it could all fall apart tomorrow. The stock market could go away. You know, there's danger at every step. They know that in their heart. They're ingrained in this material consciousness. So here you are with all this confidence. Who do you think you are? There's an attitude. The devotee has a tendency to forget how his demeanor may be interpreted. The devotee is happy, he's fearless, and 100% confident. So many people think you're putting it on. You can't be real. I got to try to outdo you. Your ego seems like it's as big as Texas. You see, although it's not ego. I have confidence. I'm in the lap of the Lord. You know, the devotee should realize his position. Do you know what your position is? You are an assistant to the Supreme Controller. You're a right-hand man or lady to the Supreme Godhead. You realize how close you are to the ultimate controller? You're not down the limit. You're not down the line at all. You're here. We're at his lotus feet. We eat food off his plate. We live in his house. We work directly for him, you see. This is huge. So why would the devotee not feel this intense confidence? Have nothing. Srila Prabhupada's cooking puris. He's confident. Krishna will take care of it. He comes as a bomb on and off of the puri. See? The non-devotees can't understand that. Why are you so confident? Anybody who's really confident, they're just trying to pretend that there is no tiger. You know? They pretend that there's nothing to worry about. But they're worried. Very unsettled. If people may get unsettled for a brief period of time, and then they go back to it. Something changes. You know? It's like life is a roller coaster ride for the materialist. For the spiritualist, it's like being on a rocket that goes straight up, going back to God. Spiritual life is always increasing. Spiritual knowledge is always increasing. Your devotional service is always increasing. Your friendship is always increasing. The love in your life is always increasing. The ecstasy is always increasing. Your knowledge is always increasing. See? So, the devotee walks amongst people trying to distribute this. It was given to us. It was thrown in my lap. We try to throw it in their lap and say, here, take this, please. You know? We're not one of the other guys. See? We're not a religion. Religion is wonderful for people to work at and strive and try to go higher and higher. But Lord Chaitanya says, hey, look, you don't need religion. This Krishna consciousness, ISKCON is not a religion. Although we're thought of as a religion, we're registered as a religion. We have a tax-exempt status as a religion, but we're not. This is the ultimate deal. This is the ultimate goal, devotional service. Lord Chaitanya just gave it out, free. Here, take it. And give it to everybody. And this is going to go on for another 9,500 years. And we get to participate. We get to hand it out. You see. That's our position. So, anything else? All right, thank you all so much. So wonderful to be back in Tucson. Hare Krishna, glories to Srila Prabhupada.